Good morning, everyone. So wonderful to see you all here. Welcome to Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist. We are so happy you're here. If some of you are sitting around and sitting there wondering what's going on up here, well, welcome to Holiday Music Sunday. It's my great pleasure with the choir and all my wonderful people up here to do some of the fun stuff for the season. And I just wanted to say thank you and welcome. And it's 2024, so I don't need to tell you what I'm doing here now.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to this, our annual festival of 9 lessons and carols. Or to be a little bit more specific, Blessed Yule. Blessed Yule. There we go. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
I'm Reverend Matthew, and I am so glad that all of you are here in person on Zoom and perhaps even joining us later for the recording. So let's all turn and wave to the camera as a way of welcome. Keep it up as we get a chance to pan around the room, see everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, got to keep it up a bit. Yeah. Thank you, Chuck. Today is the culmination of months of work by Chris Tackett, renamed you all of a sudden. Chris Tackett, our music director. It's crafted through hours of practice by our choir and musicians. And participating in it today are our readers, Alan and George, Kim and Shar. And as you will see, it also involves our children, as well as Miss Stacy, our coordinator for religious exploration. And it's all of this work, all of this dedication, so that we could share in the lessons and the carols, the meaning and the music of the holidays, Yule and Christmas and Hanukkah. So thank you all. And thank you, and thank Miss Stacy, who will be bringing the kids in a little bit. I'm also grateful to the many people who contribute all of the time and talent and treasure to make our programs and our place and our people grow. Like yesterday, Theda, our vice president, gathered all of our leaders for program council who were available so that they could plan our events for next year as we engage and love and transform in new ways. Our elders like Hobie, who are seeking a relationship with the Athana Otham and the Yaqui, the indigenous people of these unceded desert lands, so that we might better learn of their heritage and join them in a shared future. And like Pi, and our pastoral care and our hospitality team, who are renewing a beloved tradition today, our bi-monthly third Sunday potlucks. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We restart these potlucks immediately after our prelude today. The organizers have informed me that we want to welcome everyone, whether you brought a hot dish this morning or not. Please join us for a time that we can stay together, eat together, connect together, as we know a happy and merry, blessed time of renewing our secular faith community. And there, I can hear the kids right now. So we'll let them have their time in just a minute. But that secular faith community, that's what we do every time that we meet. It's a space between all that we know about the world and the many beliefs that are present here this morning. And so, in that spirit, welcome, whoever you are. Welcome whenever you are joining us. Welcome wherever you are on life's journey to Mountain Vista Unitarian Universalist Congregation. It is good that we have gathered to celebrate the lessons and the carols, the meaning and the music of the holidays of the season of light. Let us worship.
Good morning. This reading, entitled "You Are the Holiday Miracle," was written by Gwen Matthews. As December opens up before us, we welcome in the gift of reflection. We turn toward our holiday celebrations and search for common threads of meaning. We begin with Yule, the winter solstice, and we are invited to explore duality, cycles, and seasons, and to witness the Holly King being overcome by the Oak King. Yule reminds us that we all partake in the miracle of renewal. Christmas, the celebration of Jesus' humble birth in a manger, offers us to revisit the miracle of birth and the desire to find saviors to heal the scars of humanity. Hanukkah, the festival of lights, commemorates a time of miracles when the faith of the Jewish people sustained them to reclaim their holy temple and keep the light of the menorah burning for 8 days. Here, in our secular faith community, you are just as much a holiday miracle as the turning of the earth, as the creation of each life, each new life. We see the love you give to others, the space you create to hold one another's joys and sorrows, and the generosity and spirit you entrust to this community. You are the holiday miracle. This community is one of miracle makers.
it's not official without the. A festival of 9 lessons and carols is the famous service from King's College in Cambridge in the UK. It was first held in 1918 on Christmas Eve in the early evening. It was based on an earlier service from Truro Cathedral. That one started at 10 p.m. and had been started on Christmas Eve in large part to help lure people away from very busy pubs on Christmas Eve. It really didn't become famous, though, until the BBC started broadcasting it from King's College in 1932, just as what they called at the time the Empire Service shortwave radio band came on the air. By the way, Empire Service is now the BBC World Service, which is still being broadcast, still shortwave around the world, and also now on the World Wide Web. The service is still carried live and recorded around the world in video and audio formats, and like many of my church music friends and colleagues, I look forward to watching it every year, hearing it every year on Christmas Eve. Part of the reason I look forward to hearing it every year is because new carols and new organ pieces and big new pieces for choir and organ together are added to the mix. For every new piece, though, there are plenty of well-known hymns and carols mixed in for the choir and congregation together. The form of the service is not unusual. Readings alternated with music. Pretty basic form. That's a basic form of worship that goes back into antiquity as far as we can tell. I love this format. It's a great way to tell a story, to mix in some wonderful music, and also have a chance for the congregation or audience to sing some great carols. I've used it for many holiday services and concerts, swapping out the scripture readings for other less familiar stories, and the carols for all kinds of music. In the 1918 version of the service, it begins with what they called a bidding prayer, a meditation and call to worship that invites the listeners to go, quote, even unto Bethlehem in their imaginations, and to make the chapel glad with our carols of praise. Then the presiding minister asks the congregation to hold in prayer those who had suffered and were anything but glad in the aftermath of the Great War. Finally, in a move uncharacteristic of contemporary church traditions, but totally appropriate only about 6 weeks after Armistice Day, he invites all those present to also pray for those who have passed from this mortal life. So if you'll forgive me, this is my UUified version of the bidding prayer that opens the traditional service. Beloved friends, let it be our care and our delight to hear again the stories and messages of this season, and in our hearts and minds go to Bethlehem at the birth of Jesus, or Jerusalem in the time of the Maccabean revolt against the Greeks, or even to gaze upon the heavens and contemplate the movement of this planet in its celestial orbit in space. Therefore, let us read and mark in these writings the tales and histories of our ancestors and all who came before us. But first, let us pray for the needs of the world, for peace on earth and goodwill amongst all people, for unity and cooperation between all faiths, especially here in our own community. Let us remember, too, the poor and the helpless, the homeless, the hungry and the oppressed, the sick and those that mourn, the lonely and bereft, the aged and the little children. And let us remember, too, those who have passed from this life, and to keep the blessings of their memories alive in our hearts. And then at this point, a very carefully chosen, very carefully rehearsed, and undoubtedly terrified boy soprano would stand in front of the choir at the rear of the hall and sing, unaccompanied, the opening lines of the customary processional hymnal. It's 228 in our own gray hymnals, once in royal David's city. A crucial part of this service is the congregation who joins with the choir on the hymns and carols. So it's your turn. Won't you join, stand with us, and sing Once in Royal David's City.
We'll do verses 1 2 and 4. Once in dear David's city stood a lowly cattle shed, where a mother laid her baby in a manger for his bed. So may we, when life turns hard, find in love our stay. Shepherds came to see this wonder and to kneel in holy awe at that lowly stable manger where the infant laid on straw. So may we this happy morn on our average child that's born. In that happy Christmas spirit, hear the angels from on high sing their latent salutations. Joy's a gift you cannot buy. So may we, with hearts that sing, share the truth this season brings.
This year, in a curious, fretful accident, a middle school science teacher gets to read this next lesson. It is a quote from the Reverend Barbara Well Ten Hove called "The Meaning of Solstice." While most of us have heard the term winter solstice, we don't necessarily know what it means. Many years ago, when I first started celebrating the solstice, a scientist explained it to me in a way that made sense. Learning from him, I wrote a reflection on the solstice that gives his scientific perspective a spiritual slant. I share it with you now. The dark time has come. The earth, in her great dance around the sun, has come inevitably to the solstice, the time of extremes, of distance, of darkness and light. In our hemisphere, we experience this time as one of cold darkness, of shortening days and lengthening nights. The earth is tipping, from our perspective, further and further away from the sun. We wait, but the moment when the darkness is greatest is not entirely predictable. The spinning dance of the earth continues, but for one brief instant, when the axis of the earth's rotation crosses the line through the center of our orbit around the sun, the tipping stops. And for a moment, we seem to stand suspended in space, pulsing with potential movement and ongoing life. Then, like a child's top that almost fell over, we are saved by the spin and lifted up again towards the light.
In Celtic tradition, you would do a wassail a dance around the apple trees. To ensure new growth, bits of lamb's wool would be dipped in old cider and fixed on the branches, and singing and dancing to drive away the evil spirits and those that would do us harm. Choir?
Thank you all. Amid the season of celebrations, we need time to pause, catch our breath individually and collectively. And so I invite you to a brief meditation. Breathe now, just as your body allows. And if possible, if just for a moment, rest, inviting your body to be held in the chair in this congregation, if only for this moment. The Reverend Andrea Hawkins Camper invites us to ponder. Winter solstice is a time to look back upon our ancestors. Gather our family and friends close and rejoice in the return of the sun. It is a time of renewed hope, a time of resurrection. Just as Aaron Rod's wheel turns as the phases of the moon and the Oak King resumes his rightful place in a dynamic shift over the soulful dark of the Holly King, so must we go on. On the night of December 21st, the long dark reaches its zenith, and for the briefest of moments, it will seem as if the Holly King's reign will be eternal. On that night of the longest dark, we are gifted log aflame. Remember our ancestors and retell the stories that bind us together as a people. And so gather and sing the songs of our childhood, sing the songs of our parents and of our children, of our friends and our families. Gather close, huddle in the light of the log of community. Let us find time to feast and revel, but always let us remember that there is hope in this time of the longest night for the coming year.
How beautiful the march of days as seasons come and go. The hand that shake the rose hath wrought the crystal of the snow, has sent the hoary frost of heaven, the flowing waters sealed, and laid a silent loveliness on hill and wood and field. O'er wide expanses sparkling clear, the radiant morns unfold, the solemn splendors of the night burn brighter through the cold. Live mounts each every throbbing veil, love deepens round the hearth, and clearer sounds the words of hymn, God will to all on earth. Oh, the from whose unfathomed law the year in beauty reign, thyself the vision passing by, in crystal and in rose. Day unto day doth utter speech, and night to night proclaim, in ever-changing words of light, the wonder of thy name.
You may have already noticed a significant portion of our Unitarian Universalist heritage comes through Christianity. Through our lineage, our faith tradition is familiar with the language and the imagery of Christmas. We really do this well. In fact, if you look in the gray hymnal, you'll find that there's 10 times the Christmas carols compared to Yule and to Hanukkah. But as today's service demonstrates, our religious heritage does not reflect our spiritual diversity today. We find so many blessings of various beliefs within our congregation. And this is true this morning, and no less true on Christmas Eve. At 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve, we will return to the Reverend Norman Allen's interactive no-rehearsal Christmas pageant, or as we revision it, the absolutely no rehearsal, let's wing it together, have fun, and find our way to Christmas pageant. And at that time, when we invite you to join us, we will explore many meanings of Christmas as a secular faith community would, and so we invite you to gather on that evening. But this morning, we turn to our Christian heritage and read the story of Jesus' birth as told in the Gospel of St. Luke. And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign to you: ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace and goodwill to all. And it came to pass, when the angels were gone away from them unto heaven, the shepherds came with haste and found Mary and Joseph and the babe lying in the manger. And when they had seen it, they made known abroad, saying, which was told to them concerning the child. And all those who heard it wondered at those things which were told to them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. Once upon a time, a baby was born. But even before that baby was born, there were people waiting and wishing and hoping for that baby. The people who were waiting and wishing and hoping for that baby didn't know exactly what that baby would be like. And so they wondered, would the baby have a smile so warm that it could melt the coldest snow and ice? Would the baby have a voice so strong that it could shake entire mountains? Would the baby be so courageous that all would be comforted, even in the most ferocious of storms? Would the baby show the world so much love that peace would settle even into the most hardened of hearts? But even as they asked these questions, they imagined what the baby would be like, the people who were waiting and wishing and hoping. For they already believed that indeed the baby would have a warm smile, a strong voice, a courageous spirit, and a loving heart. And they weren't wrong. When Jesus was born, we are told his tiny body was wrapped up to keep out the cold. And he was laid down on straw in a trough that was used to feed the animals inside of a barn. His young parents, proud and exhausted, had been forced to take a long, long journey far, far from home, and that's in addition to birth. Jesus' parents were the two of the people who had been waiting and wishing and hoping for him to be born, but there were other people who had been waiting and wishing and hoping for Jesus to be born for a very long time. These people saw the hurt and the suffering in the world, and they believed that this new baby, Jesus, would use his voice to spread a message of love and of peace, and they knew it would take courage for him to do so. But Jesus wasn't the only baby that people waited and wished and hoped for. People also waited and wished and hoped for you and you. Once upon a time, you were born. But even before you were born, there were people waiting and wishing and hoping for you. But those people who were waiting and wishing and hoping, well, they didn't know what you were going to be like. And so they wondered, would you be kind? Would you be brave? Would you show love? Would you spread peace and joy? But even as they asked these questions, as the people who were waiting and wishing and hoping for you, they imagined what you would be like, the kind of person that you might grow up to be, because they already believed that you would be kind, that you would be brave, that you would be loving, and that you would spread peace and joy throughout the world. They knew that you could help ease the suffering and the hurt in our world, and that you would speak out against violence and against oppression. And they were not wrong.
Another carol, this one a little more familiar than a couple of the ones we've done so far. We're going to invite the choir to stand. You can stay seated, but we invite you to sing on this one.
I Saw Three Ships is a skipping song that children have skipped to for centuries. And this morning, ours are going to skip. And if you feel like you'd skip with them, then as they come by, join them. And then when they go back to RE, you can come back to your seat.
Christmas Day in the morning, I saw three ships
This may not be news to you, but Hanukkah is not a major holiday. Not for Jews today, not ever in its very long history. It's not the equivalent of the celebration of the Christ child, nor is it the same as the winter solstice partnered with the summer solstice and balanced out by the equinox. As I've recently learned from Rabbi Sharon Broas, Hanukkah has obligations like those of major Jewish holy days. It does not have obligations. There are just a few rules, though, to observe, and they're more like guidelines than rules. Guidelines about how and where to light the Hanukkah, or as more commonly known, the menorah. For 8 nights, the menorah is to be lit candle by candle, methodically and in order, in a place that can be publicly seen. And this visibility honors not a single story, like the shepherds visiting the babe in the manger, or the return of the oak king to power over the holly king, but by variations on miracle stories, such as the story of the Maccabees, who won resistance against oppressive tyranny in an unlikely military victory, or the story of just a small portion of oil lasting well beyond its capacity for 8 nights so that the temple, the Holy of Holies, could be reconsecrated. Or the story of Judith, which is often forgotten and not told. Judith was a widow who was entirely fed up with the cowardice of her people. In the face of suffering and hurt, she bravely used all of her power, her body and mind and spirit, to take action and save them all. These are not major miracle stories in Judaism, yet they are miracles akin to the turning of the earth or to the creation of each new life. Rabbi Sharon teaches the menorah is placed somewhere clearly seen, like in a window in the front of your house, and lit in sequence for 8 nights, celebrated with stories and with food and with songs, so that Jews openly and publicly in front of their broad community say, life is fragile. Miracles are possible. I need you to see me. I'm so deeply moved by the rabbi's next thought. It might actually be our most basic of human needs to live with other people, to see and be seen by them. I need you to see me. I need to see you. Can we begin to imagine how engaging and loving and transforming life would be if we would just begin to perceive others? Witness the fragile, beautiful person who is right there in front of you, but also there, and 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 right here. Hanukkah is not a major Jewish holiday, but its invitation to us all is pretty major. Hanukkah invites us to perceive and to hold one another in the light of miracles. In this light, our resistance and overcoming of tyranny, our renewal of the sacred in the world, our power, especially those whose bodies and minds and hearts and spirits are marginalized, whose stories are never told. These are miracles we would know every single day. And if we can just for an instant recognize one another in the light of miracles, then we could regain our humanity and the justice our world deserves.
candles are lit in wonder, joy, and gratitude. Each candle a miracle.
When the Holy Temple was rededicated at the time of the Maccabean liberation battle, only 1 day's worth of oil remained, but yet it burned for 8 days.
Candles, then, are lit in remembrance and rededication, remembering the miracle of light in a season of darkness, the miracle of trust in a time of anxiety, the miracle of hope in a time of despair, the miracle of faith in a time of cynicism.
We can rededicate ourselves to the miracle of wholeness in a time of fracture, the miracle of courage in a time of fear, to the miracle of resistance in a time of oppression, and to the miracle of peace, time of violence.
And in a time of hatred, we rededicate ourselves to the miracle of love.
We'll keep practicing that.
I wish for you a season in which there is room for the complexities to occur during this time, a season of complicated memories, of happiness and pain, of comfort and loss, of disappointment and fulfillment, a season of joy, which also has room for happiness, because gladness and sorrow take place together.
The winter holidays are beautiful and celebratory, but they're also hard and complicated. The Christmas and Hanukkah stories contain grief and loss, struggle and pain. Winter solstice is the longest night in a cold and bare season. We often gloss over these parts to focus on the miracles. The baby was born, the sun returns, the oil lasted 8 nights. In recognizing the challenge in these stories, I've come to appreciate different miracles. When a couple expecting a child has nowhere to stay, the miracle is the innkeeper who makes room for them. When people struggle to maintain their home and faith, the miracle is the loved ones who support them. When the days turn short and the air cold, the miracle is the warmth of community and connection. These ordinary miracles happen because we make them happen for ourselves and for each other.
And through our ritual of celebration and comfort, we evoke these miracles every week. We pour out waters we have collected from Sonoran skies, waters from around the world, water from our home, symbolic of this people, place, and programs. We welcome individual joys and sorrows added to these waters as we welcome them into the embrace of our secular faith community. Some we are named by our pastoral care committee.
I only have one announcement to share today, and that's Vince Calder had a fall, had a fracture of his spine, successful surgery, and now is in inpatient rehab at Encompass, is the name of the facility, and I'm sure that he would welcome visits from people.
And we put in a stone then for those that have been spoken. And then we recognize that there are here among us unspoken joys, and we add more stones. And then we add even more for the unnamed sorrows. And then we invite a miracle. We invite a miracle in our response. We celebrate with one another and we comfort one another, one to one, and as an entire congregation. And this we are led by our pastoral care committee. With their great experience and deep compassion, they and I with them respond one to one with joy and sorrows shared with us. With your permission, as we share with our congregation the very joys or sorrows. And then we lead our congregation in celebration and comfort. Together, we make ordinary miracles happen.
We invite you to join in our seasonal reminder of these miracles by selecting a blue bulb from our tree or from the basket in the Covenant Hall entrance. Hang these where you can see them as a reminder. Through this season of celebration in which there is room for complexities, you are not alone. Spirit of love, source of hope, as the winter holidays come upon us, help us find gratitude for the complexities of life. In the midst of loss and pain, may we find comfort and peace. In a season of joy, may we know that the light and warmth of community shines for all of us. Amen and blessed be.
Thank you.
We have one hymn left to sing. It is a hymn, beautiful words, Eleanor Farjung, that looks to the east, to the sunrise, that even in the midst of the darkest dark and the darkest night, as we've been exploring all this season, there's still going to be a sunrise in the morning. And there are days when that's all we have to hang on to. That beautiful sunrise will be here, it will come. And let's try this one more time. Choir. Everybody else?
People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able. Trim the hearth and set the table. People look east and sing today. Love, the guest is on the way. Furrows, be glad, the earth is bare. One more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course the flower may flourish. People look east and sing today. Love, the guest is on the way. Sparrows, be watched when night is dim. One more light the bowl shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather. Bright as the sun and moon together. People look east and sing today. Love, the star is on the way.
Building an open-hearted, welcoming community where we work together in covenant to transform ourselves and our world through love. This is our ongoing mission. We also like to say, engage, love, transform. We engage our future recognizing that there is a lot to fear. Holding our fears and never turning away, we choose to act guided by love. Through this people and place and our programs together, we will transform tomorrow. We do this in many ways. We transform the future in partnership with dance. This month, our Woven Basket partner is Dancing in the Streets, Arizona, a ballet studio in South Tucson. We use our Woven Basket in our Oasis room just outside those doors to take a month-long collection for an organization transforming our community with their work. And so Dancing in the Streets is this month's Woven Basket partner. And their annual Nutcracker is a beautiful example of what they do all year round. Diverse, inclusive, and equitable, they teach dance and perform with young students from all backgrounds, with all skill levels, in a variety of developmental needs. Their Nutcracker is one that features the Polar Bear Club Orchestra, featuring the Snowflake Chorus? Snowfall Singers, okay. But it's all conducted by Chris Tackett. And in fact, they have been gathering here on Sunday afternoons and evenings in order to practice. Their co-founder, however, Celeste Lupu, invites our congregation to share in a discount if we buy tickets before sales close tomorrow at midnight. So if you would, just take a look. That's the code you need, Snowflake24, no spaces. All of your donations that go into the Woven Basket will be shared with Dancing in the Streets for all of their amazing work. And the donations that go into its partner, the Wooden Bowl, go to the amazing work of our congregation. All of your gifts will be gratefully received.
Matthew?
Yes.
Can I point out too, the tickets on sale, that sale stops, I believe, tomorrow night. There will always be tickets available at the door. It's a big hall. Temple of Music and Art is a big hall. Do not be discouraged. Do not be turned away. Come, see it. It's going to be wonderful.
We have an announcement from our team putting together the Fun Friendly Frolic fundraiser.
Good morning. I'm Renate Kloppinger, and I'm very much aware that I'm one of the last persons to stand between you all and the potluck there. So I'll try to be brief. I'd like to invite you to participate in 4F. MVUU's Fun, Friendship, Frolic fundraiser. It will be fun. There will be opportunities to make new friends and to catch up with old ones, enjoy great food, learn something new, and so much more. 4F is, we call, the daughter of Mesquite Madness, and like for all offspring, there are similarities and there are differences. 4F is a sale, not an auction. And we are asking for donation and sponsorship of events and services, not things. You could donate or sponsor a dinner at your house, a pool party in your backyard, a music event, maybe a Mardi Gras party, the timing would be good, lead a discussion group, do a lecture on something you really care about, have a tour of your favorite museum or gallery, and so on and so on. Just be very creative. Services will also be welcome. Maybe pet sitting, help to declutter a home, clean out a closet. We all need that. Gift cards will also be appreciated. This doesn't have to be anything fancy, and nothing will be too small. If you feel like giving a dinner at your home or a party is too much for you, maybe team up with friends. There's a table outside with more information and sign-up sheets, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. And speaking of decluttering, we transform the future by seeking new means of expressing joy. Many of you may know Marie Kondo, who is a living saint of getting rid of your unwanted stuff and decluttering. Her one question, does it spark joy, has become the measure of keeping something or giving it away. And as we begin the new year with a Sunday service then, we are not only going to explore this idea of does it spark joy, but we are also going to have the opportunity for you to get rid of your unwanted stuff. So bring all the stuff that doesn't spark joy for you, from items that are well in storage you may have forgotten about, to those things clogging up your closets, to those holiday gifts that you received but really don't bring you any joy. Half-eaten fruitcake will not be accepted. And we will bring all of our stuff here. We're actually going to pile it up right here as part of our support for Contigo Tambien, our immigration ministry, and then later in the month for our January rummage sale. Look to our Friday newsletter for far more information. And finally, we transform the future by breaking the hold of misinformation and disinformation on our children and in our community. And we do this through the Our Whole Lives program, OWL. This is an age-appropriate, evidence and fact-based sex and sexuality program that we have created as Unitarian Universalists with the United Church of Christ. We've taught this for years. There are many former teachers here, and there are also our active teachers and facilitators who have taken the time to train, to teach this to our children as well as to adults. This is a powerful action for us to transform the future. If you know anyone who you think might be interested, please reach out to Miss Stacy immediately as we are taking registrations and looking to start this program in January, just a week or two after the new year. Thank you.
And I want to point out, this fits with what I'm about to say. In all the haste and rush of getting the service underway, I forgot to mention, I was supposed to do the announcement for Winter Chill at the beginning of the service. So, oh boy, is it time for Winter Chill. Monday evening, the 23rd, 6 o'clock, right here. 2 hours of quiet, some soft piano music, a chance to sit, a chance to read, a chance to finish up some last-minute crafts, a chance to finish up your last-minute Christmas cards, just a chance to relax and breathe and do nothing. 6 to 8, Monday night, the 23rd, the night before Christmas Eve. I tell you, I'm looking forward to it. And one more thing I wanted to say before I let you all go for the day. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Reverend Matthew for his help in putting together the words and helping to shape the messages for today. I thank Lee and Dan and Robin and Chuck in the back of the room for helping make us look and sound our best. Thank you so much, everyone. I want to thank my instrumentalists this morning, Grace Yelland on flute, Alex Stuckey on clarinet, and a huge thank you to George Murphy as well for playing guitar. He also played guitar a couple weeks ago when we did Hard Candy Christmas, and thank you, George. That adds so much. But my biggest thank you of all has to go to this choir behind me. In my career as a church musician, I have worked in places. I worked in one particular place in Texas that had a congregation of over 1,000 families. We were lucky in pulling teeth to have 12 people in the choir. And here we are in a teeny tiny church, but growing. And we have this amazing ensemble. Thank you. Thank you all. Put my glasses back on. Traditionally, the Lessons and Carols ends with a meditation on the mystery of the Incarnation, the coming of Jesus. Quote, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And it goes on and on and on for several more minutes of confusing and difficult prose. After all, James Joyce had to come from somewhere. It does, however, have the wonderful image of the light that shines in the darkness, even though the darkness comprehends it not. They, of course, mean this in the context of the life of Jesus Christ and the founding of the church with Saints Paul and John. But in my own atheist, agnostic way, I've come to hear it and think of it in a different way. As we've been examining this month, in all the darkness and confusion of our lives, we have the power to be a light for each other. Even as we may comprehend not the light we share as we try to bring comfort and peace to each other, still, we share it. We work together to improve the world locally and throughout all lands, and even though we may not immediately see the positive results of our actions, we keep on doing them. So as we leave this place, we remember the connections and the common ground we have and we have found with each other, and we strive to share this connection with the broader world. In the words of Elizabeth Sell Jones, "We extinguish this flame, but not this light of truth, the warmth of community, or our fire of commitment. These we carry out in our hearts until we are together again." And now, on behalf of all these wonderful people up here, a final blessing. Got to do this right. May the love and joy and peace of this season be yours now and throughout the years to come. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be the will of the universe, and may we each, according to our own tradition, say, Amen, Amen, blessed be, may it be so, may the force be with you, and live long and prosper.